Oh, ladies and gentlemen, you are gonna love this one. Chrystia Freeland decided to speak to Rosemary Barton, and boy, I do not think she knew what she was in for.
Chrystia Freeland, nice to see you again.
Good to be with you, Rosemary.
Do you think that this is the right response for this moment?
Absolutely. I think we as Canadians need to really recognize the gravity of what has just happened.
Lady, are you reading the response somewhere? We as Canadians need to recognize the gravity of what has just happened. Doesn't everybody know what just happened? Oh, by the way, this was right after Trudeau announced the tariff retaliation on the US of A. And Christia decided to go on Rosemary Barton to give her response. Oh, you are in for a sweet treat.
This is an illegal and unjustified action. This is a betrayal of America's closest friend and best ally. This is economic warfare, and it is incredibly important for us to hit back and to hit back hard.
Seriously, the lady's basically reading talking points somewhere because she does not look like this is all coming out of her head. She's reading something somewhere. I'm convinced. It's so feels so rehearsed.
We're asking Canadians to get behind you. First, the Liberals, of course, and then eventually Canadians if you win that. In fact, most of your colleagues are not choosing you. What does that say to Canadians if the people that you spent almost a decade with, over a decade with, either around the cabinet table or in the caucus room, don't believe in you? Why should Canadians?
Oh, Rosemary, come on. At least ease her into this a little bit. You can't go right for the jugular. You know that the people that she just spent a decade working with are all supporting Marky Mark. Don't ask her why. She's gonna get flustered. She's not gonna know what to say.
This leadership race is not.
Ooh, ha 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 ha. Here's the game we're playing. I guarantee you she's going to say grassroots and reviving the Liberal Party grassroots. How much you want to bet?
Going to be decided by Ottawa. It's not going to be decided.
I didn't say it was going to be decided by Ottawa. I'm talking about your caucus members, your caucus colleagues.
Oh, damn, Rosemary. Good job. You redirect that one. It's got, Christian, we ain't doing that today. Not in this house. Oh, just had a thought. But let's finish this off. Let's finish this off first.
Colleagues from right across the country and your cabinet members too. Do you not believe that those people have free will of choice?
Oh, of course they do. And I am so grateful to the very strong caucus and cabinet colleagues who are supporting me. But at the end of the day, this race is and should be about who grassroots
Bingo, grassroots. Here we go. Grassroots reviving Liberal Party. Come on.
liberals choose to support. That is who I'm focused on, and I'm focused on reviving the grassroots of the Liberal Party, making the Liberal Party more democratic. And what I've been focused on, Rosie, from day one, what I have identified from day one, is that the central challenge that Canada is facing today is Donald Trump. That is how.
Oh boy. All right, so she's going to go into how she is the only one that could probably defeat Trump. Well, this will be fun to watch. All right, Rosemary, you've been doing a good job so far of asking tough questions and following up, so let's not get disappointed.
I launched my leadership because I could see this coming, and I have been very clear from day one.
Everyone could see it coming too. Well, I will say, Chrystia.
Oh, come on! You had to give her that at least, girl. Give her that one. She's the only one that saw it coming. She's the only one that saw it coming. Not everybody.
Chrystia Freeland, you told my colleague Catherine Cullen that you're running against the Ottawa establishment, the establishment that you have been a key part of for a decade. Why on earth would anyone believe the claim that you are against the establishment, that you are not part of the establishment?
Oh, God. They really don't like her no more. she might actually be right that the establishment is actually against her. Because, oh God, those are not some simple throw me questions. It's a wonder she ran to the Americans to get a bit of a softball interview, but we're going to look that up later. We're going to look into that in a minute. Let's finish up with this one.
Look, I think that people can see very clearly the dynamics of the race. But the reason that I'm asking people...
That's not what my question was. I said...
This is a beauty. This is part of why sometimes I do enjoy watching Rosemary Barton interview somebody, because sometimes she goes right for the jugular. Sometimes, it's a bit of a softball, but every so often she gives you right hook, left hook, 1-2 punches. Come on, Chrystia, you can finish this off.
Why would people believe that you are not part of the establishment, given the proximity you had to the Prime Minister for a decade? Are you actually just saying that because that is the only possible way for you to win at this stage?
Oh, come on. You said that too. Ooh. Chrystia, I think you should just tell the truth, man. You should just say, you know what? I thought I was going to be the next Prime Minister. He shoved me in the back and he wants Carney. So I got mad and I torpedoed his government. Let's go with that one. Just be honest.
Rosie, not at all. And
Oh.
I think it's important for people to remember that I resigned. I'm the minister who had the courage to do that. I'm the minister who saw that we needed to be relentlessly focused on the threat that Donald Trump posed.
Would you not have had a better...
And Rosie, I'm not just saying that today.
Yeah.
I said that on December 16th, before these measures were in place.
Would you not, Chrystia Freeland, have had a better opportunity to help the country had you...
Oh, you can tell Rosemary is trying to hold back because a better opportunity, because she probably had some other words she wanted to use there, eh? Oh, Chrystia, you look uncomfortable. You look uncomfortable. Let's finish this off. Rosemary, take it away.
Stayed at the cabinet table in whatever capacity the Prime Minister wanted you to, you would have been able to take on Donald Trump right now.
No. Canada
Why?
is strong. Yeah. Canada is going to astonish the world with...
That is a good point, though, right? Because if she thinks that she was the best person to help us defeat Donald Trump because she identified the issue long before anybody else, but then she walked away from the government, serves to reason at the same time that she is saying that he is doing a good job of responding to Trump. Why are you running, Chrystia? Why are you trying to be the next prime minister? Because if you think Trudeau's doing that good of a job, you should just still be in his government in whatever capacity he wants you to be. How are you going to finish this one off? Come on.
With our strength. And I am very proud every single day to be out there talking to Canadians, rallying Canadians, and speaking out for Canada.
You said that you would scrap the capital gains tax, a policy that you put forward in your 2020.
Oh, you realized she wasn't going to give you an answer. Come on, I think you let her off easy on that one. You could have grilled her just a little bit more, But hey, capital gains is going to be a good one to hear the answer to as well.
Budget. In fact, you said it is an idea that everyone who cares about fairness should support. Why do you no longer care about that?
Because...
Oh, damn! Why do you no longer care about that? Because it's all about fairness. I guarantee you she's going to be like, the Canadians have said so, and we are listening. Let's play it.
Because Donald Trump is out to eat our lunch. One of the things he is trying to do is suck all of the world's money.
Lady, she asked you about capital gains and being fair and why you no longer support it. Donald Trump ain't got nothing to do with your capital gains. You know that, right?
All of the world's capital into the United States. And Rosie, I am not going to let him. We need to recognize the threat that Donald Trump poses to Canada. This needs to be our central organizing principle. I know we can win, But in order to win, we need to be united, strong, and smart. We need to be resolute and determined, and that is what I will be. And that's why I'm running to be leader of the Liberal Party, and that's why I'm running to be our next Prime Minister.
You also vowed to back away from the consumer carbon tax, a policy that...
Oh, Rosemary, come on. You could have grilled her a little bit more in that one, eh? You could have made her actually answer the question. But hey, you probably crunched for time, so you're moving on. Let's see what you say with the carbon tax.
you defended with the Prime Minister for many years. In May of 2022, you said the reality is that a price on pollution is the most effective way to fight climate change. What made you change your mind there?
Canadians. We need to listen to Canadians. That's what democracy is about. Of course, we need to fight climate change, but we need to do it in a way that Canadians want and accept.
Did you really not want what the Prime Minister offered you before you quit cabinet? Because I'm sure you...
Oh boy. Okay.
know that there's a different view of how things unfolded on that weekend, that there was an offer on the table, and that instead of taking that offer, you chose your opportunity to go for the Prime Minister's job.
I was very clear, Rosie, and candid about what happened in my resignation letter. I was clear that this was about a difference of opinion, about differences between me.
Yeah, except it was a difference of opinion that only came out when he offered you a different job.
Oh, you called it out, Rosie. You called it out, Rosemary. Come on. You only became a difference of opinion when it became clear that you were not going to be the next prime minister and he was going to ship you off to some no nonsense portfolio. And you ain't next. You ain't next. At that point, you said, I'm done with this. I'm going to burn it down. I'm going to burn down the house too.
That was the difference of opinion only became public and something you were willing to put on the line when he said he was going to move you into a different job.
It was a difference of opinion about our policy. It was a difference of opinion that is incredibly relevant to the challenge Canada faces today, because it was clear to me from the moment that Trump threatened 25% tariffs that train was coming down the track, and that Canada needed to be relentlessly focused on fighting back.
Chrystia Freeland, thank you for your time. Come back anytime.
She ain't coming back, Rosemary. Come on now. Not after what you just did there. Why would she come back? I mean, she could come back I hope if she does. And you're going to grill her again, but I don't think she's coming back because, oh boy, that was tough to watch. That was tough to watch. Next up, we've got Chrystia running to the squawk box to get a little bit of a softer interview. In other words, she couldn't handle the Canadian media, so she went off to the Americans, the same ones she just finished lambasting. But hey, you gotta go eat where you can, right?
President Trump pausing tariff threats against Canada and Mexico hours before the levies were supposed to take effect. On X, Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau wrote that his country will reinforce the U.S. He said Canada will appoint a fentanyl czar, list drug cartels as terrorists, and launch a joint U.S.-Canada team to combat organized crime. Joining us now, former Canadian Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland. She's running to be Canada's next Prime Minister. Thanks for joining us, Chrystia.
Great to be with you, Steve.
So, can you help us understand?
So this time she waited at least a day. After the tariffs have been announced, as paused. So hopefully he's going to give her a little bit of a softball interview. I mean, he probably will. But hey, being that it's CNBC and it ain't Rosemary, let's do this.
And what happened? I've got two stories in front of me today. One is that the Canadians and the Mexicans gave in to President Trump's demands. And then there's a story in the Journal today that says President Trump didn't really get very much. From your perspective.
That is a good question. Did Canada and Mexico actually cave in to Trump? Or did they simply give Trump what they were already giving him and he kind of just spun it as a victory on his end? Let me know what you think in the comments below.
Perspective, what actually was given by each side?
Well, from my perspective, Steve, what happened is common sense prevailed. The Wall Street Journal was absolutely right in saying this is the dumbest trade war in history. And markets sent a very strong message yesterday. They said this will be bad for the American economy. And we heard the same thing really basically from everyone who has anything to do with the U.S. economy, right?
Basically, he just gave you the one question you really, really wanted to answer. I mean, the only person you're running against, it seems, is Trump. So at least now you get to talk about it, right?
Right? We heard it from the chamber, we heard it from manufacturers, we heard it from the aluminum sector, we heard it from the farmers, we heard it from blue-collar workers, we heard it from the steel workers. Everyone said, this is a really bad idea because our trading relationship with Canada is mutually beneficial. And then I think you guys got the message that Canada would retaliate.
Our understanding was that you were disappointed in Prime Minister Trudeau's placating President Trump. Are you disappointed in his response yesterday?
Oh, come on, man. She came here for the easy interview. Don't ask her that question again. Are you about to essentially go, if he's doing a good job, why you running? That's a question she still hasn't answered. Somebody please ask her that question right off the bat. Let's see what she says to this one.
And what he appears to have given President Trump?
Not at all. Our whole country right now, every single person is absolutely united. We are totally supporting the Prime Minister in the great work he is doing and the great outcome that we had yesterday. And what we really need now is to get to a place where the tariffs are definitively off the table. So I think what we all really need to focus on is we need to say a good result yesterday, and now let's move this totally off the table and get back to an effective, mutually beneficial relationship. You know, Ronald Reagan said about the Canada-U.S. relationship that it was...
Are you going into a history lesson too, Chrystia? Because, I mean, no offense and all, but I don't think you want to be quoting him. Well, I mean, maybe you do. Maybe you do. But, hey, I don't think that answers the question, though. I really don't think that answers the question.
The most productive relationship between any two countries in history in the world. He was right.
Do you agree with President Trump that Canada's been unfair to the United States?
Of course
No,
not.
absolutely not, Steve. Look, the reality is our trading relationship is balanced and mutually beneficial. And if you exclude energy, if you exclude oil and gas, electricity from that trade, then it is basically balanced. In fact, some years you guys run a surplus with us. Now, I think you are really lucky that Canada is the country that sells you oil and gas and electricity. We are a much more reliable supplier than, say, Venezuela. And the fact is, particularly with AI, America's needs for energy are only going to increase. The U.S. anthem has actually been booed. I do not remember that in my lifetime. We feel hurt. We feel betrayed. We will retaliate if we have to. But, you know, we want to be your friends. We know that this relationship...
Okay, so she's basically playing the angle of you need us more than you realize, or more than we need you to some extent. Because, I mean, she figures we've got options with the pipeline going off to BC. One little problem, that pipeline basically goes into Washington, California state. Yes, it does hit the Asian markets, you know, Japan, South Korea, China, India. She didn't really build it. She expanded it. She didn't really build it. So, you know, that is what it is.
Works. And, you know, you should be glad that you have us as a reliable energy supplier. As finance minister, I got a pipeline built to the West Coast for oil.
You
We do
expanded it.
have alternatives. We prefer
Which
to
are?
be your ally and partner, and for that to be the foundation of North American economic and national security. But you're making it hard for us by threatening to punch us in the face.
Chrystia Freeland, nice to see you again.
Good to be with you, Rosemary.
Do you think that this is the right response?
Hard to vote for you. like you're making it really hard to vote for you. At this point, I'm pretty sure Mark is running away with the whole thing. Look, based on what I'm seeing, there's a reason all the ministers and liberal MPs are kind of flocking to him, because you are running a train wreck of a campaign. But, ladies and gentlemen, that was Chrystia Freeland one more time punching herself in the face and walking into the wall that is Rosemary Barton. All righty, next time. See you next time.